Thank you so much for staying with us. Of course, beautiful montage there in honor of the late President Hage Geingob, who Namibia, of course, yesterday commemorated his one-year death anniversary with very special tributes, very special ceremonies at the Heroes Acre, where he's been laid to rest, as well as at the State House of this great republic. And our gospel musician, Esmeralda Katjikuru, known by her stage name as Esme Songbird, has been gracing the Namibian nation with her vocals since the passing of the late President Hage Geingob on the 4th of February 2024. Esmeralda joins us in studio this morning to also help us understand her journey in as far as being the voice for Namibia during what has been a very dark year indeed for our country. Esme Songbird, a very good morning to you and welcome to Namibia Connects.
Good morning, Ishishi. Thank you for having me.
It's certainly a pleasure. You are a voice, a face that needs no introduction to this country. You are a voice that has rung in every corner of our homes. You are a face that has, brought emotion, brought comfort to our people. So, of course, it's been a very difficult year for us as a nation.
It has been.
I just want to go back before we get into the details of our interview in terms of how you became, the voice during this dark period. Yeah.
It did not happen overnight, of course. I did a few events in and around Windhoek and Namibia, and I think that's where it all started, that the State House started booking me for their year-end functions and for the events, special events. But then the first time me and the president met was at the inauguration of the Lutheran Church bishop. And then I was playing the keyboard myself and I did a song that I composed myself, and that's when the president was like, "Who is this girl?" And then I got an invitation when he was hosting the SADC countries' presidents for a luncheon. And the then president from Botswana was like, "Oh, Mr. President, I'm going to take the singer to Botswana." Then he said, no, that one is mine. And ever since I did the president's birthdays, I did the special events at home. And yeah, that's where it started.
Did you ever, when you started out your music career as Esmeralda Katjikuru, as Esme Songbird, did you ever envision yourself singing in front of presidents?
My dear, this is God's doing. My grandmother was a pastor, and in Malta I started playing on this Chinese. My mom bought me a Chinese keyboard. When you press like a full chord, it will die. So I used to play it with one finger and so forth. But then I loved to sing more than playing the keyboard. Then my grandmother said, "My child, you'll go places. You will go with your voice, you will go places." And this is what she prophesied back then, I believe. So this was not even in my wildest dreams, to be invited time and again back to the State House and to be in the presence of these people, our presidents. It's an absolute honor for me.
And here's one thing that we've all sort of come to know about the late President Geingob is he loved music.
He loved music.
He loved music. What did you make of that love for music?
The president would literally come join us on stage. And he loved the matanga music. He loved danced music. And even if you do ballads and slow stuff, you could see it on his face. I remember we did not know it was the last one, but the very last year-end function at the State House, he was just sitting most of the time.
In December 2023, yes.
This was, 2023, end of the year.
Yeah.
And it was different than all the others because he was not really that active and up and loud and wide. We could see he was going through pain. But at the end, it was me and the dog performing. Yeah. And then at the end of the... Yes. So at the end of the event, he stood up and he's like, "Let's dance." So it was like he was saying goodbye with the last dance. And he loved music, honestly. And he had that thing that he supported you. He made you feel like he respected your craft and he honored what you did for him. He appreciated all the musicians. If you do live music, if you do dance music, he loved it. Yeah.
It's really unfortunate. A few months thereafter, of course, we've come to know of the
2 months thereafter.
Devastating news of the passing of this great man, this giant, both literally and figuratively, And of course, you are amongst the voices that graced, that, brought comfort, that wiped tears away at memorial services from Casa Rosalia to, the Heroes Acre. But I want to go back to what you first made of the news on that Sunday morning, the 4th of February, 2024.
Yeah, I got a call while I was in church. But the Saturday evening, it was hard to fall asleep, It was like something was hanging. We needed some answers and what is actually going on. And I wasn't prepared for that, of course. And the Sunday, I got a call from the family. You need to come, we are having an opening service. Opening service of what? And, I'll never forget that day. Then I went home and everybody was there. The house was full with people, and then I saw the responsibility. I must now comfort these people. And it's the first night of all this, but God carried me through. And of course, as a musician, we communicate through music. I'm an instrument, and I feel like it's my responsibility to speak to the souls. And everybody was composing songs about the passing of the president, but then I thought of the First Lady, and I took it from her perspective as a wife and as the First Lady. And I wrote a song, I would say, as my own words, my own lyrics, of course, my own melody and rhythm, but just to picture myself saying goodbye to this husband and giant, a father. So that's a song that I composed for them.
That's beautiful. And I think it's so difficult because of the giant of nature of this man. He was not only a president.
He was not just only a president.
Exactly, and you felt this need to look at it from the perspective of former First Lady, Ms. Monica Geingob. What was it in that time that made you think of her? Because here was a nation mourning. Here were friends and family, close friends, current President Nangola Mpumba, the Speaker of the National Assembly, etc. You had presidents flying in from Botswana, from Angola, from South Africa, etc. But at the end of the day, we forgot that there was a woman who had lost her husband. Why was it important for you to comfort her?
That day that the president arrived from his operation and he landed at home, I was invited to now sing for him, welcome him back home. And they shared the stories of how the journey was in the hospital and how our First Lady sneaked in the hospital room. And it was just very sentimental for me. It was personal, it was beautiful. And how she really paused everything about herself and she was taking care of him. And here we were, the nation mourning, and I saw her in a corner, and then she was the person that was the closest to the president. And I just put myself in her shoes, and it must have been very hard for her,
Absolutely.
So I thought of her. That's why I wrote a song for her.
And you carried this mammoth task, for 3 weeks on end since the news broke. You sang at memorial services, like I mentioned, from Casa Rosalia to Heroes Acre to Independence Stadium. Talk to us about the emotions that you were feeling in that time. I think it's one thing to be a musician, to perform in front of hundreds, thousands of people. But it's another thing to perform at such an occasion where a nation had just lost a president, a sitting president, for the first time in its history.
My God.
We were shook. Talk to us about the emotions you were feeling at that time.
For me, it wasn't really a performance, because I'm a jazz singer, and I know what it's like to entertain the audience.
Yes.
But this one was different, and the task was big, and I took it upon myself to be in prayer. Although my emotions, sometimes I just wanted to break down, but still, God carried me through. And that thing of, there are people looking up to me. I have a responsibility. I must take heart. I must be strong for all of us. It was hard for me, but it was easy at the same time. It was difficult, but it was worth it. I would stand there and I would perform. I would do the songs, and when I get home, I would have my moment again where I would cry.
That's always the question I have. Who comforts the comforter?
Yeah. So then I would just, from all the compliments and the comments, the support, the calls, the Namibian nation comforted me at the end, and that's where I drew my strength from.
Fantastic. Of course, yesterday was the first year since we lost President Geingob. We had, like I mentioned, of course, very solemn ceremonies at the Heroes Acre and at the State House. How do you reflect on yesterday?
Yesterday, after a year, I was fine when we started. Okay, we are remembering the president. Okay, we have a list of songs. Okay, I've selected the songs. Okay, my pianist is there, Kali is there, outfit checked. I was fine. But when I saw the family walked in, it took me back to the last moment when everybody at Casa Rosalia, where everybody else left and the family had to view the body for the last time. And it was just me and the band. It took me back to that final moment. And it was heartbreaking. And for me I could not even sing later on. It was just tears. It was just that thought of, this is final. He's not coming back. He's not waking up. And when they close this casket, it's done. That final moment with the family. It took me back to that, and
Very much. I'd also like to find joy in the pain. Of course, we saw, that sermon from Pastor Brian Badovara. We saw the sentiments from President Bumba at the State House. We saw Ms. Monica Geingob also, of course, speak. If the president were here today, what would you think his take would be? What do you think he would say? And the first request from you, Esme.
If he was here, I think he would have been proud of us, because we gave him a beautiful send-off, and we are keeping his legacy alive. And as Namibians, it just shows that we loved him, and we love him beyond his death. And yesterday I could witness that people were commending there was, Namibia is boring without you, in this type of comment. So if he was here, he would have seen that we loved him as a country, as a family, as his children, as everybody. We loved him, and we love him still.
Very much indeed. I hate to do this to you. I hate to put you on the spot, but firstly, I need to know, what was President Geingob's favorite song that he enjoyed you performing? And secondly, could you please perform that song for us?
He loved a lot of songs. With me, he did not have a specific one, because at the house, and he could not even dance, he was just sitting like this on the sofa the whole time. And as if there were signs that were telling us he's saying goodbye, but we did not pick up. Maybe somebody did, but I did not. Yeah. And he was like this grandfather who was sitting there and watching his kids, and then he had a sakduk, and then he was like just doing this, and then I was singing Blessed Assurance. Jesus is mine. And when I sang that, he got emotional. I could see that. But the Namibian nation knows that he loved Homkaku.
Yes.
So I'll do that one rather.
Yes, please.
Now.
Yes, right now.
Okay. Homkaku ke, Homka vip ai mati wa timira kai. Homkaku ke, Homka vip ai mati wa timira kai. Ai kaire Homkaku ke, Homka vipai mati wa timira kai.
I'm sure President Geingob is smiling wherever he is right now. It should be illegal to have such a beautiful voice.
Please arrest me now. Thank you.
What does the song literally translate to?
The song is about it's a folklore. Yeah. It's an old song coming from yesteryears. So it's basically like the angels standing on the top of a mountain, and it's like they are welcoming you home, like they're hello. How do I direct translate? But they are calling you back home. Okay, come home, come back. You know, there are times in our lives where we go astray or where we lost the way. Then they're like, come home.
Just reminding you of where
reminding you to come home.